Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over some Arc Raiders movement tech. I've been completely addicted to this game since it's dropped, and I'm sure there's other people in this same boat. And I know that this video is a little out of place for my channel considering I primarily focus on Counter-Strike videos, but this game, it has some cool movement tech in it. I've been really enjoying the movement, and I've learned a lot, and I feel like I know some things that not a lot of people know about, so I'm going to pass along that information to you guys. So yeah, I'm going to be going through this video in steps. I'm going to be talking about the beginner stuff, the intermediate stuff, and then the quote-unquote pro stuff, and it will all be timestamped down below. So if you're here to learn some specific stuff or maybe some like higher level stuff rather than the basics, then just click in the description and there'll be a bunch of stuff there for you to just kind of click along the video and find what you need to know. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the stamina meter in this game and how it works. So if I start sprinting here, eventually my stamina bar will show up. It will show up kind of like around the lower half of my character. Let me just keep running here. There you go. So this is your stamina meter, and this is probably the most important thing to keep your eyes on in the game while you're moving around the map, because if you get caught with like no stamina, you are pretty much cooked. So it's pretty important to know how this works, what uses your stamina, and how to get the most out of it. So the three things that use your stamina are sprinting, rolling, and if you don't have the right perks, vaulting as well, and jumping. So jumping, vaulting, and rolling and sprinting are the things that are going to be burning up your stamina. You cannot lose stamina vaulting if you have the right perks in the movement tree, but I know a lot of people decided to go down like survival and conditioning, so it might cost stamina for you, it might not. Now the interesting thing about your stamina meter is that if you start sprinting, you won't lose any stamina for a short period of time. So as you can see, I'm sprinting and my stamina bar is gone, and then there you go, it just kind of shows up. You lose a little bit, but you have a lot of extra free distance that you get if you just let it fully recharge and then start sprinting. This is even crazier when you combine it with an adrenaline shot. So if I go like this and I pop an adrenaline shot on myself and I just start running, you can get a really long distance running with an adrenaline shot. I think it's like 100 or like 120 meters that you get with an adrenaline shot without losing absolutely any stamina, which is pretty crazy in this game considering getting around the map is like one of the most important things. So as you can see there, I ran like all the way across this practice range here before I lost any stamina. So this free sprint that you get for a little bit before your stamina starts draining will be cut off if you decide to roll. So be aware of that rolling, and once again, if you don't have the right perks, vaulting will also make it so that your stamina will instantly start going down from that little like free run that you get there at the beginning of your stamina. Last couple things about your stamina pool. If you're running without a gun in your hands, you will be losing stamina faster than you would be while holding a gun out. So if I pull my gun out, I'm actually losing stamina a lot less because I'm running slower versus running full speed without a gun. To conserve some stamina, you can actually slide in between runs. So once you get up to full speed, you can get a little slide going. This will displace your hitbox from being hit as easily, and you also get a little bit of stamina while sliding. So this can be kind of useful to preserve stamina if you're trying to go over like a large open space and you're scared of getting shot. You can preserve quite a bit of stamina by just sliding over and over once your character hits that max sprint speed. The fastest way to restore stamina is actually by force walking. So as you can see here, mine is bound to V, but there's an option in the settings called toggle walk, and this is different than the normal kind of like mini jog that you do. So as you can see on the bottom right there, if I stop running, you can see the way that my stamina regens, and then when I do the toggle walk, it regens even faster. So if you don't have this bound and you don't know about this, start abusing it, because stamina regen while force walking is like super quick in comparison to like the jog in this game. Alright, so the next thing we're going to be going over is rolling in this game, which is kind of complicated, and there's a lot of ways to tie them into other movement in this game, but we'll just start at the beginning. So there's two types of rolls in the game. There is a fat roll that looks like that, and there's also a sprint roll, which looks like this. It's going to go a little bit longer. So if you put your points in the right tree and you go into movement here and you max out the your sprint rolls cost less stamina, then you're able to actually get 4 sprint rolls out of your stamina gauge before you're fully depleted from full stamina. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is that you have to be full stamina to get 4, or if you don't have stuff in the movement 3, you'll get about 3 before your stamina is pretty low. So with the fat roll, if you have absolutely full stamina, you can get about 3 fat rolls in before you start losing any stamina on your meter, which is pretty important to know if you're like in a long PvP battle and you're like kind of close to cover, because you can conserve a lot of stamina this way, just rolling back into cover using fat roll. Now, the craziest part about the rolling in this game is that they're actually momentum cancelable. So if I'm running forward and I want to roll backwards, as you can see, I can completely change my momentum of my character by rolling backwards, which is super important. And you can do this in 8 directions. For console, you can probably do it like a lot more precise because you have an analog stick. But for PC, you can go WA, W, WD, SD, S, and SA. So like you can go like forward, or you can go like directionally to the right there or the left. Like you have the 8 directions of your keys to roll in, and you can go in these directions off of absolutely any way that you're running, which is super important to know, and it just makes knowing the maps even more important because you can perfectly roll behind cover from any form of momentum that you have. So we're going to come back to rolling in a moment here, but I'm going to go over the next piece of movement because it will tie into the rolling eventually, which is sliding. And sliding can be fueled by going downhill on things, and also by the speed of your character. So if you're walking, you can't slide, but if I get into a sprint, I can do like kind of a slow slide, and then once I'm at my max speed, I can get a bit of a further slide. Going uphill, you will significantly slow down trying to go uphill. And if you're going downhill, sometimes the downhill bugs. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it seems that sometimes when you're going downhill, you just get like no momentum, but you do get more momentum sliding downhill. One thing to note about sliding is that you can actually jump into a slide. It doesn't give you the most momentum, but the one thing to note is that if you're PvPing, this can like really heavily displace your character's model in your head, which can make you a hard target to hit. Just like rolling, you can actually slide off into different directions in this game, except the only difference is that you can't slide backwards, but you can slide backwards and then turn around, and your character will kind of do like a knee slide, and you can pull out a gun or like whatever you want to do. But you can slide backwards, you just have to initiate it by sliding forward and then turn around that way. So now what we're going to do is we're going to combine the sliding and the rolling, which brings us to such a good combination to use in PvP. Like, it's actually insane in this game, which is sliding into a roll. And like I said about the rolling, you can redirect your momentum. So I'll just demonstrate here, for example. Let's say you have a guy behind this car, he's holding you, and you're hiding like somewhere like over here or something like that, right? So if I just pull my shotty out and I get a little run going and I slide, I can cancel my momentum with a roll and get a shot off, and you're pretty much impossible to hit. So on top of that, if I, do the slide and the roll, I'm pretty much at a perfect stance to shoot again right away. So you're already like a really hard target to hit. And if you're using a gun like the Anvil or the Il Toro, it is like a absolutely deadly combo, and it is super hard to hit you while doing this. So sliding into a roll is super dope. It's super good. And with that whole like momentum change, you can really just find cool ways to like maneuver the map. So like if some guy started wrapping me around this car, I could like roll this way and like come around like this and then like roll back this way. Like, you have so much freedom with the slide and roll, and I'd probably say it is like the 2 movement things that you tie together the most in this game, and it also just feels so insanely satisfying. If you have your gun out, you're going to get a significantly slower slide. So what I would do is I would practice combining a slide with pulling out your gun so that you actually... so that you can get a faster slide and also like have your gun ready by the end of the slide, and then you can roll out. So going like sprint, slide, pull your gun out, boom, and then roll back. Obviously you'd shoot in between those, but yeah, like boom, 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 like you're already ready to shoot again. It's honestly insane. And like I said before, like you can combine this in absolutely any direction at all. You can just keep canceling your momentum and make yourself a really hard target to hit. An underrated part of your kit is jumping. I feel like not a lot of people jump enough, especially because the bloom of your gun actually doesn't get too bad until you're at the very peak of your jump. Now, when you're using your jump to your advantage, you don't want to be trying to ADS while jumping. And the reason I say this is because, say I try and run and jump and I ADS, as you can see, I get like this weird like short hop. But if I run and jump, and then like while I'm in the air I ADS, I get like a long jump, and this is kind of like what you want to be aiming for when you're PvPing. So even combining the jump like with the stuff that I just taught you is like super important, because you can basically just once again like make yourself so unpredictable, and that long jump that I was talking about rather than the short hop by like pre-ADSing before you jump is like super important. Obviously it's like all situational, like sometimes you're just gonna want to stationary like scope in and jump, but I'd probably say like for not getting hit or something, going for that long jump and then ADSing is probably like way better. And yeah, like the bloom on guns like really doesn't get too bad until you're at the peak of your jump, so don't like trip too hard. And obviously you're probably going to be running certain guns while doing this. Like I wouldn't recommend jumping and like trying to use like an Osprey or something like that. It's kind of like a gamble, but with like the Il Toro, like it's pretty constant that you're going to at least land like a couple pellets on them while doing this. So to take it even one step further, you can actually like jump, shoot into a slide, and then roll and then shoot again. But this is like very timing specific. I find that sometimes you just won't get the slide, but you can just start combining like all these techs together, like jump, shoot, and see, like I didn't get the slide there, but it is possible, like going like that and then like rolling. Like you can really just combine all three of these. Like jumping, sliding, and rolling are just really good. The one thing is that when you're rolling, you can't really jump out of a roll until like a bit later, but once again, it's super situational, and jumping does like displace your hitbox like pretty well, so don't be afraid to use it to your advantage, like hopping around and just trying to get like a different angle, or like if you're in a spray battle with somebody, just hopping over and over can really displace your head. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to be talking about is vaulting, and I'm not going to go over vaulting as just like how you use it, because it's pretty obvious. You use it to get up ledges and around the map, but you can also use it in a very important way. So you can basically take no fall damage if you know how to do this. What you're going to do is look for corners that are below you, and your character can't be in the like skydive animation where he's like hands are out, your legs are shaking, and you're falling from a super high height, but from a certain distance you can go for ledges like this, and then you can jump off and you can take no fall damage. This tech will honestly save your life so many times, and the only way I can recommend to get good at it is by going into the practice range here and just finding like different ledges and stuff to go for, and just getting used to how far your character jumps. So that you can kind of like consistently do this in games, because there are ways to like get out of buildings and stuff like that by just doing this vault tech. So the one thing to note is that once you vault onto the thing, so if I go here, instead of going up, I press backwards in space, and rather than full climbing up something, my character will kind of do like this little hop off animation where he goes like backwards. You can actually do it directionally, so if I jump towards this ledge right here and I go to vault, I can actually just keep vaulting and going to the side here. This is also really useful if you're trying to like get around like a gap or something like that. And the way that I'm doing this is by getting into that vault animation and then just pressing sideways and spacebar over and over. And then also if you want to go back, you just press backwards and space to jump off. So there's other ways to do the anti-fall damage tech. You can also do it on ladders. So it's pretty simple. If I just walk towards a ladder and I press interact, I'll kind of like slip down the ladder slower. And also while you're on ladders, you can shimmy jump off to the left and the right by pressing directionally and jump. So you don't have to like be on the ladder and just go like back like that. This can be useful if you're like trying to combine it. So like say I want to get up over here, I can like be at the top and then I can like vault up this way, or like come back on, and you can just do like the classic like backwards onto one. I forgot to press the backwards keybind here. Give me one moment. That, and you can see you're on here. This same type of thing works with zip lines. So if I was to fall off and I just press the zip line, I won't take fall damage, and you can do the same like sideways leaps off of these zip lines. So when it comes to horizontal zip lines, if you have one that's going diagonally down, there's a little bit of fun stuff you can do. If you jump off and then re-interact, you can basically make yourself like a little bit of a harder target to hit. You will go slower, but you can kind of like do like these weird little hops on the zip line. And also while you're on a zip line, once you've gain the momentum of the zip line. If you jump off, you kind of get this like mighty leap, and you can use this to like finesse your way into like top floors of buildings and stuff, but it's pretty dangerous when you're pretty high up. But you can't do that jump off and reconnect if I'm going this way, since this is going from lower to high. So if I tried it, I'll just demonstrate right here. So if I try and do that disconnect and reconnect on this right now, from this side, if I can interact with it, you'll see that I like just won't be able to re-interact. I was spamming my use key there, and you'll just fall, so keep that in mind. I think the most fun item in Arc Raiders is the snap hook. This thing is so fun, and it took me a little bit to get used to it, but there is some really cool stuff that you can do with this thing. So the snap hook has about a 20-meter length in it to connect to things, and you can use it kind of like a grappler. If anyone's played Apex Legends, you can use this thing kind of like Pathfinder's hook, but it feels a little bit funky. So if I went to go and shoot something directly at this ledge here, my character will fly directly towards it, and I'll be able to vault up on top of it. But if I press it and then I input a movement key like left, I can go and swing around. Now, if I do that same type of thing, but instead of holding left, I jump, you can actually go up and over and fling yourself. Now, the thing about this is that normally you're going to get a lot of height from it, and more often than not, you probably will get like the staggering animation unless you roll it off. So it's kind of like just getting used to the heights you'll get off this thing. But if you put a directional key with the snap hook, you will change your trajectory, and you can disconnect from the grapple by pulling out a gun. At least that's what I do, or I just like change away from the snap hook, and it will disconnect the wire and it will send you flying. If you really get a good handle of how your momentum works, you can do some really cool stuff with this thing. You can end up like flinging yourself into buildings this way. It's very risky though, because like say you missed a ledge, then you're going to be relying on that fall tech to catch yourself and get back to the ground safely. But with enough practice, you can honestly use this thing like a full-on grappler from Apex Legends, and it is so cool. It is literally the most fun item in this game, and I wish I had the blueprint for it. But I thought I'd cover this item because a lot of people don't actually know that you can do like proper grapples with it. Like you can fling yourself with this thing and use your momentum to your advantage. Overall guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you guys at least learned something new from this video. I know a lot of the people watching this channel come here for Counter-Strike. I've been really enjoying this game, and I really kind of wanted to breach out of Counter-Strike and make this channel more like a movement gaming based channel on any game, because there are so many games that I love for the movement other than Counter-Strike. So I thought that Arc Raiders, being how popular it is and how much I love it, I wanted to go over all the movement in this game and just try and teach you guys some stuff. Anyways guys, have a good one. I'll catch you in my next one.